I did not want to get into this at all, but some of my viewers and friends requested this video, so I'm going to talk about the law of thought. All this is because in logic we have the proposition P, either P is true or not P. So either P is true and not P is false, or P is false and then not P is true. Okay, so the basic rules we are using here are what we call the laws, or it should be laws here, I'm sorry, it should be the laws of thought. So the laws of thought are fundamental axiomatic rules upon which rational discourse itself often considered to be based. So the formulation and clarification of such rules have a long tradition in the history of philosophy and logic, because these axiomatic rules, we are going to see them in many areas of philosophy, logic, mathematics, computer science, and others. Okay. As far as I know, this expression laws of thought, they go back to Booles, the famous George Booles. So the expression laws of thought gained added prominence through its use by Booles to denote theorems of his Algebra of Logic. In fact, he named his second logic book an investigation of the laws of thought on which are founded the mathematical theories of logic and probabilities. Of course, this is a very old book. It's set at some of the basic rules, and I'm quoting this only because I think, as far as I know, it is the laws of thought. This expression was born here in this book. Many things that are in this book are now not overtaken, but they are modern concepts that really changed some of the basic ideas of Booles. But many of the concepts that Booles built it are nowadays very important. So at the end of the day, what are the laws of thought? So when we think and when we want to think correctly, what are the basic rules that we have to follow? Well, when we say we, at the end of the day, we have to say the Western world, the Western civilization, the modern world, the modern scientific world. Everybody follows these laws. So the first law is the law of identity. The second one is the law of non-contradiction, and the third one is the law of excluded middle. So the law of identity states that everything is the same with itself and different from another. So this expression comes from Aristotle. For those very interested in the origin of these concepts, please read Metaphysics by Aristotle, chapter 4, book 4, what we call book 4, please. Those that read in English, the best is to read in the translation of David Ross. There are other translations, but that one is the simple one. Okay, so because this expression comes from Aristotle. Okay, the law of identity states that everything is the same with itself and different from another. So A is A and not A, meaning if you start using A as a proposition, you have a proposition A. During your discourse, you cannot change what A is. If you begin saying that A is so and so, A cannot be non-A. Okay. So either A is true, okay, so So either A is true and that non-A or not A is false, or A is false and not A is true. Okay, so true false or true false. Okay, so and this is the law of identity. Okay, A will always be the same through the entire discourse. A is A and not A will not be A, so to speak. So we get into the second law. In logic, the law of non-contradiction states two or more contradictory statements cannot both be true in the same sense at the same time. So in the same sense, you go to the first law where A is A, okay, and at the same time. So A will never be non-A. So using the words of Aristotle, one cannot say of something that it is and that it is not in the same respect and at the same time. Okay, so this is the law of non-contradiction. Okay, and we were using this, and that's why we end up doing this video in accordance with the law of excluded middle or exclude third. For every proposition, either it is positive or negative, form is true. So either A is true and non-A is false, or non-A is true and A is false. When you look at all this for the first time, it might sound like everything is the same, the three laws, but they are not. And the difference here is that in the law of excluded middle, you have A and you have not A. So it means that there is no third possibility. Okay, that's why it is called the excluded middle. There's nothing in the middle. Okay, so either this one is true or this one is true. Okay, there are no third possibility. We very often use the expression here, the Latin expression. Let me write the. Okay, let me see. Okay, tertium non datur. This is the Latin expression, meaning the law of excluded middle. So there are no third possibility. There are no other possibility. There are no alternative. I think this expression, this Latin expression, appeared first when Aristotle was translated into Latin, but this expression is not from the book Metaphysics. This is from the book Logic. So the book in Latin will be something like De Logica. In Greek it would be Peri Logica or Peri Logikes. Right, that's the right expression. Peri Logikes. So those are the three laws: the law of identity, the law of non-contradiction, and a very important one, the law of excluded middle. Okay, the laws of thought.